Welcome back to Fiercely Unfiltered. I'm Kelly Renee. And today I want to talk about being a mom, choosing to either stay home or have a career. I've done both. And I always wondered, can you have both? And after doing it, my answer is no. As a mother, when you have a child, you have someone else you have to worry about 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no off switch. It doesn't matter what's going on at your job. It doesn't matter how important of a meeting you're in. If something happens to your kid, they're calling you and you have to go. So I was in the military when I had little kids. In the military, when you have kids, you have to have an agreement that if you get deployed or you have to go to the field, that you have it arranged that someone can watch your kid for you. So there's no excuses. So there's no male, female, one's a mom, one's a dad. You all have the plan. So it's kind of even in the military. But in civilian life, it's just not the same. Moms and dads don't have the same responsibility. Like to be a dad, like right now I'm in the second phase or different season of motherhood. My kids are 21 and 22. They're supporting themselves. They don't really need me. So to not have to be worrying about someone's well-being 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is such a difference from when you're a mother. You can't turn that off. Like still now, I never turn my phone on silent. I never turn it off because I'm hopefully as emergency contact. And if they call me and need something, I want to be available. There was one time when one of my sons was in first grade and it wasn't my time. I co-parented with their bio dad and the school called me and I wasn't answering my phone really because the kids weren't with me. So I didn't have to worry about it. Because when you're divorced and you co-parent, you can't really worry about the kids when they're with the other parent. You don't have the right to. When they're little, they don't have cell phones. You can't even call and ask them what's going on. You kind of have to just detach yourself from them when they're gone. When my kids were little, they would go with their bio dad to Washington for all summer. He had all holidays. I had him during the school year. So you have to detach kind of in a way because I couldn't really worry about them when they weren't with me. There's nothing I could do. I didn't have good communication with their dad. So when they were with him, they were with them. And I just had to pray they were safe and that they would make it home okay. There'll be a different episode where there was a lot of problems, a lot of court cases. Co-parenting is a whole different avenue. But for this episode, I want to talk more about motherhood and having a career and having kids. You always want what you don't have too. When I was in the military, my kids went to daycare every day. That's just what they did. Everyone's kids went to daycare every day unless they had a stay-at-home spouse. But it was a different world. When I got out of the military, I just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I was like, I wasn't able to do it when I was in the military. I wanted to see what being a stay-at-home mom was like. I had a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old. I was just getting out of the military. And after a couple months at being a stay-at-home mom, I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. Didn't fulfill me. It didn't make me happy. I was depressed. I was in Washington State, so it rained all the time. So that made it even worse. But just staying at home with the kids wasn't for me. So within 6 months of being out of the military, I actually got my real estate license. I tried to find a job where I can make my own hours. But if you're in real estate, you kind of know that you don't really get to make your own hours. You're at the call of your clients. And unless you have a team and other people helping you, you really don't have any hours. You're just on call all the time. So I did real estate. I put my kids in daycare for 2 hours, 2 days during the week. And I tried to do everything I could at home. And then I would go into the office for 2 hours a day or 2 hours, 2 days a week to get everything done I need to get in the office. People would say I was like a tornado coming in. I was like, well, I don't even have time to go pee when I'm there. So I'd go and I do everything I can in 2 hours and then I leave and I go do it from home. And I'll tell you what, I ended up partnering with Aaron, who is my ex now. We ended up being partners in real estate because he saw that I didn't have a lot of free time. I couldn't show houses whenever I wanted to because I had my kids. He was at the time 19, I believe, and he had all the time in the world, but he wasn't that organized. So we teamed up and it was a great partnership. He went, did all the showings. I did everything paperwork wise, but I could stay home with my kids and do it. But if you don't have someone like that to help you, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like, I can't just bring my 2 kids to show houses with me. That's not professional. You can't concentrate when you do that. So I did real estate. I was very successful in it, but I ended up having my kids in daycare. When I didn't have my kids during summer and holidays, that's when I would work extra, try and get as much done as I can when I didn't have my kids. So when I had them, that I could spend more time with them. But also in motherhood, I would say age 0 to 5 is the easiest age because they just go with you. They're on your schedule. They don't really do their own thing. They do whatever you want to do. They go on vacations with you. They're not in school. They don't have recitals. They don't have games. They don't have footballs or football games. So that's the best part of being a mother, I feel like 0 to 5. It's the funnest stage. And then you get 5, they get in school. And then your life is all about pick up and drop offs. Even if you wanted to have a job, it's like you go drop them off, and in kindergarten, it's maybe half day. You have 2 hours, but you have to go back and pick them up. And it's like, and they might get sick at school and might have to go get them in the middle of the day. So it's like, how do you focus 100% of your time at a job when you have little kids that you're responsible for everything, their doctors, their clothes, their food, everything? You just don't have time. So I tried to juggle it all. I tried to have a career. I tried to stay with my kids as much as I could. But like now, if you ask my kid, he'll say, I don't want to be like you when I grow up. And I'd be like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I don't want to work so much. I want to spend more time with my family. And for me, that breaks my heart because I did sacrifice a lot. I'm a workaholic. I love to work. Like, I just love to work. So to hear him say that really hits home a little bit because I put a lot of time into stuff that I don't have any. So all that time away from them, all that time I sacrificed to work, to build for the future, because later on, build for now, build for later, work now for later. I don't have a later. I lost everything. I'm not married anymore. The business that I sacrificed when they were little to build is gone. So I wish I could tell them like, but that sacrifice was for something good. Look what I did. Look what I built. Look all the people that I gave jobs. Look at all the veterans that use cannabis now for lifestyle management and are off of opiums and pills. I wish that was a story I could tell him when he tells me that he's disappointed that we didn't spend more time together as a family when they were little. But it's a lesson learned for me. And I just want other people to understand that if you're just working to build for something later on, I think it's better to spend the time with the family because kids only enjoy spending time with you while they're growing up for certain phases of their life. And certain phases, they don't need you. They don't want anything to do with you. And I'm familiar with that because growing up, I went through those phases. I went through phases where I didn't even want to go on vacations with my family. I went through phases where I didn't like anyone. So I wish I would have enjoyed my children more when they were little. I wish I wouldn't have worked so much. I wish I wouldn't have put my energy into something that could be taken from me. I wish I would have put more energy into my kids. I feel like I gave my kids everything they needed, but I don't feel like they got the emotional support from me that I wish I would have gave them. But honestly, I didn't get it when I was growing up. So I always told myself I wanted to be different, but I was. Like, I think some things you need to be taught growing up, or you really got to take the time like I'm taking now and teach them to yourself. So my relationship with my kids now is different. One's in Oregon. I don't see him. My other one lives local and we golf all the time, but he's working more now, so we don't get to see each other as much. But the relationship we have now, I'm trying to repair what I didn't give him, trying to be his support and his friend now and let him know I'm there for whenever he needs me. But I feel like because I tried to do both, I wasn't very good at either. So I wish I would have picked one. Maybe I wasn't meant to have kids if I was a workaholic. Maybe I should have waited a little bit longer and got that out of my system. But I do regret not being the best mom I think I could have been. I think I focused more of my energy on my career because for me, motherhood didn't fulfill me. I grew up always thinking I wanted two boys close in age. I wanted them close in age because I wanted to be best friends. I didn't want to have other people's kids on my vacation so my kids weren't bored. I also had them so close in age that I was able to put them in sports together. So they were able to be on the same teams, which was awesome and good for me. So I think for women who are career driven and thinking about having kids, I think you guys need to understand that it's not 50-50 with you and your spouse. They may say it is, but it's just different for mothers. You are the one that's going to be raising that kid. So when I had a career, I did everything with the kids and I did my job. I mean, fathers do sports, they do other things, but they don't have the 24 hours, 7 a day or 24 hours, 7 days a week worry. They don't have the doctor's appointments. They don't have the outfits. They don't have everything as a mother you have to deal with. So just be prepared that when you have kids, it's not going to be a 50-50 thing. It's no longer he goes and does something and you go and do something and it doesn't matter. It matters now. Resentment starts when you can't go do what you want to do and he's doing what he wants to do. Start resenting. And then that's why most marriages, I think, break up when kids are little because expectations are all wrong. You think it's going to be a one way and it's not. Like females just need to have the expectations that if you have a job and kids, you're doing everything. And if you get help from your spouse, then be thankful. If you go in with those expectations, then your marriage will last. But if you're going into having kids thinking that it's going to be an even playing field and he's going to do as much as you're going to do, that's not the case. And when you're a stay-at-home mom, your job, you don't get a clock out. Your job never ends. So it's tiring. And it's a very thankless job because the kids don't appreciate. Like I didn't really appreciate my parents till I was in my late 20s and I had my own kids and I understood the sacrifice and everything they did for me because I didn't really get it until I had my own kid. So they really have a thankless job until they're older and they realize it. But I just don't think, in my opinion, you could have it. You could have it all. Unless you have a husband who is a stay-at-home dad who takes that role and those responsibilities and those worries from you. I don't know many cases like that. And I don't know if that dynamic works for a lot of people either with the male ego and those kind of things. So this was a struggle for me. I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom when I wasn't. Then when I was a stay-at-home mom, I didn't want to be one anymore. I think about if I would have had some of my kids that I didn't lose when I was trying to have them in my second marriage. I think I'd have like 2017, I'd have like 7-year-old twins. I'd have like 10-year-old. So I always think to myself, in the world that we are in now, would I homeschool my kids if I had them at this time? Because I see my friends and stuff homeschooling them because it's crazy out there right now. But I couldn't even be a stay-at-home mom with my kids. So I don't understand how parents don't get that break, how they don't send them to school just for a break for their mental health. Like kudos for these parents that have the patience to stay with their kids all day for school and for life, because I wouldn't have been able to do that. But just people are built different. So you got to really understand, like, are you having kids to raise them? And so your life is these kids now? Because That's what it is. When you're married, at first your spouse is your best. You guys do everything together. You have this life that's great. And then you decide to have kids. And your life is the only really life that changes. They get to go about and nothing about their life has to change. And your whole identity, now that child. And some relationships turn into the child and the mother are now best. And they have two different groups. It's the mom and the kids, and then the dad. And that's not really the dynamic I was looking for. I wanted a marriage and kids where we're one unit, where it was a team effort, where it was shared responsibility. But it took me trying to have that to realize that that's not really how life is, and that every situation is different and you have to find out what works for you. But you also need to have the conversations and the expectations, because I think two people getting into the situation have two different ideas of how it's going to be. And when you go into the situation with expectations like that, without clear roles and clear responsibilities, a lot of the time that marriage isn't going to last. So if I could redo my life at this point, and when I say I love my kids, I'm glad I had my kids. I think everything that happened in my life happened for a reason, happened in the sequence it did. But I grew up with a picture of what I thought my life was going to be. I wanted two kids. I wanted a husband. I wanted a house. And I just had this vision of what it was going to be. And as I grew up, I just went for that vision. Didn't really enjoy the seasons of my life. I just had a plan for what I thought it was going to be, and I went to make that happen. And if I went back and I would have thought about who I was, what I wanted, I'm not sure I would have had kids, to be honest. Kids didn't fulfill me in any way that I needed fulfilled to be happy. To me, being in the military, they have you think of worst case scenario all the time. So for me, having kids was a very stressful situation, from their births to childcare at the army, getting pulled out because of domestic violence for the person taking care of them, having to leave my first child at 5 months for a couple months to go off to a military school. There's just so much stuff that wasn't enjoyable, that was more stressful for me with having kids. I never got my happy ending. Didn't work out with their bio dad. We got married for the wrong reasons, and I'll go into a different episode. I thought their stepdad would have been a great example for them and been in their life forever, but now he's not either. So for me, I never got the happy family, and unfortunately, my kids never did either. But I'm hoping that the second chapter of our lives, where they have their families and they get to create the vision for their family that they always want. I want to be there, support them with that. I can't wait to be a grandmother to as many kids as they want to have. And I'm going to be the type of grandmother who takes the kids for the weekend, lets them have time to themselves, because that's priceless. And a lot of people don't have mothers or fathers who want to watch their kids. And I get it. Like, I enjoy my life right now. It's priceless. Like, I don't have to watch any kids if I don't want to. But sometimes just helping someone with their kids means everything, because not everyone has that help. So I hope that all the mistakes I made with my kids, trying to have a career and be a mom, failing at both, I hope that I can make that up to them as I am a mother to them in the later part of their life, or in this chapter of our chapter together. And I hope that I can help them with their children, where I am a benefit to them And I am nothing but a positive in their life because that hasn't always been the case. I've struggled with my mental health and stuff as I was parenting them in their teens. And I wasn't there for them like I wish I could have been. But I'm better and I want to be there for them now. And I don't know if they listen to this podcast, but if they do, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not being the best mom I could be to you. I'm sorry that I didn't take the time to heal my traumas before I had you. I'm sorry that you're probably going to be going to counseling because of the stuff I put you through. And I see this reel going around where it says, someday your kid is going to sit across the table from people and explain what it was like being raised by you. And I hope that when that time comes, we're more focused on the present and I've made up for those mistakes and those aren't what they dwell on. Because I know with my parents, there's stuff still to this day that I wish they would have done different with me. And I have resentment a little bit, but I know now after me being a mother, make some of the same mistakes they made with me that I'm upset about. And I did the same thing to my kids. So my parents, they're just people and they didn't know better. And I think it's easier to be a parent nowadays because we have the internet and we have people who share their stories, have stuff to look at and learn from. But back when our parents were parenting us, they didn't have that. They didn't have resources to get help or to learn or to educate themselves like we have now. So I'm not mad at my parents for anything anymore. I don't hold resentment for things I think they could have done better because I failed the same way towards my kids that they did towards me. And I just feel like it's a learning experience that everyone learns. And I don't know if there's many parents out there who think they did a great job. I know I see a lot of parents who I think are amazing parents. I wish I could have been one of their kids when I was growing up. But I just want to say you got to pick what you want. You got to pick, do you want a career or do you want to raise healthy kids to be able to handle themselves in a world when you're not around it? So some people are made for one and some are made for the other. And the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So for me, I didn't succeed at both. My kids don't think I did that great of a job. And everything I worked for and built, I lost in the last couple of years. So maybe I should have just went all in on one, just been the best either mom I could have been, be the best career woman I could have been. But now that I don't have a family, my kids are older, they don't need me as much. Now I'm at the point where I'm going all in on everything I do. I have a lot of regrets that I didn't put the effort in. I didn't go all in, wasn't in the moment. I wasn't enjoying the seasons or the chapters. I was just trying to get to the next. So now living my life, I'm enjoying every season. I'm enjoying every moment. I'm enjoying every day because I never know what tomorrow holds. So today I'm going to be the best person I can be. And I'm going to go all in on everything I do every day. Because if I could tell my younger self one thing, it would be don't try and grow up so fast. Enjoy elementary school, enjoy junior high, enjoy high school, like enjoy college if that's what you do. Or enjoy the military. Just enjoy the seasons you're in without trying to make that season your forever or without trying to make that season what you think it should be. just live every day to the best you can and let life unfold because God has a plan for you and He had that plan before you were. So have a great day and thanks for joining me on this episode of Fiercely Unfiltered.